Hey, what's up there, Chris? I got to answer that question about Provigil and Nuvigil. And your suspicions are correct. It is just a ripoff. So here we are. Provigil and Nuvigil are based off of the same molecule. But there is only a very slight difference. And if you watched my Adderall versus Vyvanse video, it's basically the same sort of thing. So here we are. It's based off of this molecule. And these molecules, I don't know, hopefully you can see them well. This camera's not very good. They're almost identical. Hopefully you can see that. Here's one, here's the other. The only difference here, if you can look closely, is the positioning of this oxygen. See this red thing right here? One is pointing the other way. So this one's pointing to my left, your right, and this one's pointing to my right, your left. And what they are mirror images of each other. So they're like hands is the best example. You have a left and right hand. If you put them over on top of each other, the thumbs point the opposite direction. So while they look the same, they're not exactly the same. Now, what this has to do with medicine is that often when you have a medicine like that, where they look the same, but they're not quite the same, often they will do different things. Sometimes, in this case, see this one on the left? Let's say this one has the medical benefit. The right one might actually be a poison, because the way the body works with these drugs often activate proteins, and proteins are like a lock and key. So if you go up to your door, it has a particular pattern to that groove. If you reverse the groove on that key and try to unlock your door, it won't open. It's the same thing with these medicines. Or it might open something else that's not good for you that you don't want. So, but in this case of Provigil versus Nuvigil, it seems that both of these molecules basically do the same thing. So in the example where I was telling you about hands, how they do different things, sometimes you can have a hand that does the same thing. So let's say like holding a cup. It doesn't matter which hand I hold this with. It works with my left or right hand. But if I try to put on a glove, it matters which hand I use. I can't put a left-handed glove on my right hand. So with the Provigil and Nuvigil case, at least as far as we can tell in the research so far, is that they more or less do the exact same thing. Now, Provigil is a mixture of both of these compounds. So it's 50% of this and 50% of this. Nuvigil is just this one isolated. This is the R enantiomer. So I'm pretty sure it is. Carbon, 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 hydrogen, hydrogen. Yes, so this is the R enantiomer. And they do the same thing. So it really leaves two choices. Some people claim that Nuvigil is cleaner. I don't really see any evidence for that. As far as we can tell, they do exactly the same thing, at least according to the pharmacological database that I used. And furthermore, as far as is known, at least according to my database, they don't even know the exact mechanisms by which these molecules work. They have some guesses as to how they're working, but they don't have the exact mechanism. So I'm not even sure where these claims are coming from. But suppose the claims are true. Really, this leaves two options for Provigil versus Nuvigil. Number one, that it's just what you suspect, a money grab. Since most people don't know they do the exact same thing, they go and assume that Nuvigil is better because it's newer. Number two, that Nuvigil is better, but I don't think the company would be happy with that claim. If they are making that claim, then what it means is that they intentionally released an inferior product on purpose. So if Nuvigil is better than Provigil, and this pure enantiomer is better than this one for whatever reason, either because it has harmful side effects, that could be one reason, or it's simply just not as effective as this one. Now, it doesn't say that anywhere, but we're just supposing it did. Then what it means is that the company intentionally released an inferior product on purpose, whether it be because of side effects or it's just not effective at treating. Imagine if you had an antibiotic, and let's say it had the same kind of thing. Let's say this one is very good at treating it, and this one is either does the same thing and has side effects, or it's just not as good. Either way, someone is either getting side effects they don't need, or they're taking something that's just not as effective. So it's not going to treat their infection as well. Therefore, it's causing them negative side effects because you have a problem, it needs to be treated. If you don't treat it, that's bad, and it's going to cause negative side effects from the problem not being solved. So I tend to go along with the idea that they're just trying to rip people off, but Of course, you can ask them yourself. I'll just put a link to their Facebook page or something like that. You can just ask them. You can ask them if it is better. If it is better, then why did they sell you an inferior product for so long? Because if you just look at the name, it was all planned out. Provigil, pro meaning before, Nuvigil being new. So what companies like this do is if they have a mixture like this, what it allows them to do is patent the thing twice. So you patent it as Provigil, which is either the same or less effective, one or the other, it doesn't matter which one it is. You patent that, and then after that patent expires, then you do Nuvigil, and then you basically have the patent last twice as long. But while you patent the inferior product for, which is what they're claiming that they're doing, if they claim that Nuvigil is better, that means they patented the inferior product first, and they forced people to take an inferior product. And if that was the case, I would just sue them, because they are basically poisoning you one way or the other, or they're blocking you from getting the best treatment possible, because they could have just given you this, and it either has less side effects or is just better. So I don't think they would want to make that claim, in which case it just goes back down to it just being just taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge of chemistry, basically. So you're right in to assume that. So I hope this answers your question. If you have any more, just drop me a line again, and I'll try to do the best I can to answer that. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.